the dream is dying. For months, the entire world has watched a tiny club from a town known more for its airport than its football try to do the impossible. But as the final whistle blew at Molina, the silence from the traveling fans felt different this time. It didn't feel like a temporary setback, it felt like a goodbye. Rob Edwards, a man who has carried the weight of an entire community on his shoulders, stood on the touchline looking at a scoreboard that seemed to confirm his worst fears. His team, his vision, and his future in the top flight were slipping through his fingers, and the irony of where it happened makes the sting almost unbearable. Returning to a place you once called home is supposed to be a moment of reflection, but for Edwards, this trip to Wolves was a nightmare dressed as a homecoming. Before he was the face of the Luton Revolution, he was the man leading the charge at Wolves. He knew the grass, he knew the tunnels, and he knew exactly what his old club was capable of. For 90 minutes, he had to watch the monster he helped build dismantle the dream he's currently trying to save. It wasn't just a tactical battle, it was a psychological war. After the humiliating 5-1 thrashing by Brentford just a week prior, the world expected Luton to come out with teeth bared. Instead, they found themselves caught in a loop of the same mistakes that have haunted them all season. There's been a lot of buzz online about the atmosphere inside the Luton dressing room lately, with some insiders suggesting that the weight of the relegation battle is finally starting to crack the squad's unity. After that Brentford blowout, reports claim that crisis talks were held behind closed doors. Edwards publicly praised his team's fight and character after the Wolves' loss, but you have to wonder if that's just a brave face for the cameras. Behind the scenes, the pressure is suffocating. When you've only managed one win in 14 games, character starts to feel like a participation trophy. Fans are beginning to speculate if the players have already accepted their fate, or if there's one last miracle left in the tank. The match itself felt like a scripted tragedy. Imagine being Carlton Morris, you're seconds away from being the hero, your header is screaming toward the net, and Jose Sa pulls off a save that feels more like a glitch in the Matrix than a human reaction. Seconds later, the ball is at the other end, a deflection goes the wrong way, and suddenly you're down. That's the story of Luton's season in a nutshell, inches away from glory, miles away from safety. The second goal, a free header that Edwards himself called the biggest mistake, felt like the final nail. It wasn't a moment of brilliance from Wolves, it was a moment of mental exhaustion from Luton. But the drama doesn't stop on the pitch. In the background of this struggle is a legal battle that makes the whole Premier League season feel like a courtroom drama. Nottingham Forest is currently sitting just 1 point ahead of Luton, but they're playing a different game entirely. With appeals against point deductions and legal maneuvering, Luton finds themselves fighting an opponent they can't even see. It's been said that the uncertainty of the point system has rigged the survival race, leaving smaller clubs like Luton to twist in the wind while the big boys argue with lawyers. It's a messy, controversial era for the sport, and Luton might be the ultimate victim of the chaos. Looking ahead, the road doesn't get any easier. With only 3 games left, every second on the clock is a ticking time bomb. They face Everton and Fulham at home, 2 teams with nothing to lose, which often makes them the most dangerous. Then there's the trip to West Ham. If Luton can't find 9 points, they aren't just losing their spot in the league, they're facing a financial reset that could take years to recover from. The Premier League is a goldmine, and the fall back into the Championship is a long, dark drop. Speculation is already mounting about which stars will jump ship the moment the relegation is official. In his post-match presser, Edwards was asked if this level of play is actually good enough to keep them up. His answer was brutally honest: it hasn't won us a game today, so no. That kind of candor is rare in a world of PR-managed scripts. He knows the truth. He knows that trying your best doesn't pay the bills in the most expensive league on earth. He's insisting they will keep fighting, but as the lights dim on their season, you have to ask yourself, is the fight already over? Or is this just the dramatic low point before the greatest comeback in football history? At the end of the day, Luton Town's journey has been one of the most compelling stories in modern sports. They represent everyone who was told they weren't big enough, rich enough, or good enough to sit at the table. But the Premier League is a cold, calculated machine that doesn't care about narratives. As Rob Edwards prepares his men for their final 3 battles, the world is watching to see if the underdog can bite back one last time. If they go down, they'll go down swinging, but in a world where money and lawyers often beat heart and soul, is swinging even enough anymore? Let us know in the comments, is it time for Luton to accept the inevitable, or do you still believe in the miracle?